Hello one, hello all, and welcome to Katie's and Quincy's discussion of the Gunn Theatre Survivor tea. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Oh yeah, just past seasons, strategies that may have been used, some epic, brilliant plays, and yeah, this is, what?
Oh, this will be helpful for anyone who's playing Season 5. You get a little taste of what Survivor is.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, so any newbies, also for those of you that are not playing in the upcoming Survivor game, this podcast will be going out the night before Survivor Season 5. So yes, for anyone that's new to the game and you guys want to hear some strategy tips from some Survivor geniuses, no, just kidding. No, we're Survivor noobs, but yeah, if you want to hear about past games or strategies or anything like that, stick around. And if you are not playing in the next season, stick around too, because we're going to have a lot of fun discussing all about Survivor.
I love Survivor. Yes.
Everyone should love Survivor.
Yeah.
If you don't love Survivor, something is wrong with you.
I agree.
Okay, so there's so much to touch on. I feel like we could talk about this. I feel like we could talk about the last season for like 5 hours, but we don't have that long. We only have like 59 minutes remaining now since it's been a minute and a half. So Katie, what are the big things that you want to touch on?
I mean, I think we could go over every season, but I think we should really talk about Season 3 and Season 4, because I think that's where I and you can be really. I can't speak. We can really talk about our strategy, and also because Season 3 and 4 are similar to 5 because it's all on Discord, so it'll be more relatable.
Yeah, I agree. So, well, how about why don't we start with the history of Gunn Theatre Survivor? So when did
pull up that doc I made.
Oh yeah, go for it. So while you're doing that, I'll give the quick backstory. Basically, I don't remember when it was, but it was almost a year ago now, very close to a year ago. Dennis had the brilliant idea, along with Colin, to create Gunn Theatre's first ever Survivor season. So we went to Dennis's house, which we did once a week generally, and we all, although actually no, this was in summer, so it was sort of not quite the same. But anyway, we went to his house. Almost everyone stayed over, and a lot of people pulled all-nighters. And then we all left his house at 5, 6 in the morning, or something.
Yeah, it was 5:30.
Yeah, and it was completely dark out. And we walked over to Wannabrionis Park, and we had an epic Survivor game, and the tradition continued about 6 months later when Katie, Callie, James, and I had Survivor Season 2. And that was at Gunn High School, actually. And then Survivor Season 3 happened, I don't know, maybe March, so only a few months later. I think it was
March, yeah.
Yeah, March. And that was led by Armand, all by himself, online, the first one online, so big shout out to Armand. I don't know how he did it.
Armand!
Yeah,
yes.
What a legend. And then the Season 4, which was our last season, our most recent season, was led by James, and I led it again for the second time. Dennis also led for the second time because he led Season 1. And Noam also was our fourth Jeff. And I don't remember, when was... That was
May.
That was May. Was it? Wait,
was it? I think it was right before Callie's birthday.
Okay. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, I think I'm wrong. I think it was June.
Yeah, I think it was June too. Hold on, I can easily check because I'll just look at extinction here. Let me 7-3. Wait.
Yeah, so June 3rd.
No, that's wait, January, February, March, April, May,
June. Not
Wait. No. Hold on, this ain't right. What the heck? Why is it?
It was June 14th.
Why does it say 7-3? That's clearly not correct.
It's June 14th.
Yes, it was June 14th.
I'm looking at the Discord.
Okay, sounds good. So June 14th. So, and now we are having one August
Oh my
2nd
god.
is our upcoming game.
August 2nd, baby.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I mean, I think we can jump right into it. I mean, we don't have a whole long time to talk about it, so let's just go for it. Katie, what are your thoughts on Survivor Season 1?
Let me think. I think Survivor Season 1 was the perfect season to like introduce people to Survivor, because I know a lot of people who played weren't huge Survivor fans. I think it was just like me, Joey, Quincy, Callie, and Rohan.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds right.
I think so.
Yeah.
And we were all like super pumped because we already knew what it was. But I think even though there were a lot of people who knew what Survivor was, it didn't give us like a huge advantage because it was a completely new thing. And that game was crazy.
Well,
Dennis
to be
just
fair,
the stop.
to be fair, I do think that you guys did have a slight advantage because if you look, I mean, this may not be true, but if you look at the end, the final people were you, Callie, Joey, and Rohan. So 4 of the 5 of us, the Survivor fans,
Okay,
all made it.
Fine. Yes, we had. I think we had. I mean, like not on the challenges, but like
Oh yeah.
a lot of people didn't know it was a lot about
What
like
is
making
that?
lots.
Oh wait. Hold on, so sorry. What is that noise? I promised James that I was gonna. I forgot to do it already. I promised James I was gonna. What is that noise? I was gonna turn off notification. I was. What is what is happening? Oh my god.
I turned off all my notifications.
Oh my god. Okay, wait. How do
I
I?
don't think that was me. I think that was you.
Yeah, no, I don't know who that. I need to mute my notifications because I promised James I would do it.
Why?
Because he was like, Quincy, every time you get a notification during a podcast, I think it's me. So,
That's funny.
okay, it's now officially set, I believe, hopefully. Okay, sorry, back to the topic at hand. What were you saying? Sorry.
I mean, I think we had an advantage because we knew like how to make alliances and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think we had an advantage. I take back what I said.
I was the one Survivor fan loser who didn't make it. I didn't even make it to merge. Man, what an
you
L.
not make? I thought you made it to the merge.
Nah,
no,
nah.
you got out right before the merge.
Yeah, you and Rohan both voted me out, and Amelia. Amelia turned on me.
Well, no, because Amelia and I were in the alliance.
Well, Amelia and I were in what I thought was a tighter alliance. Clearly not the case. Hello, Callie. Sorry.
Hey, Callie, come join our podcast.
Callie, don't join our podcast. Sorry, my sister walked in, for those of you who don't know who Callie is. But, yeah, I mean, my thoughts on Season 1 are, it was a great jumping off point for an amazing tradition that has now started. Callie, stop talking. Callie wants me to say, which we're obviously going to say, that she won Season 1. Which is why it was an amazing season. But anyway, I was going to say, I think it was a great starting off point. It got a lot of people introduced to what Survivor was, and some strategy, and it was a crazy game. Do you remember the twists? I can't remember them super well, because I left partway through, because I was mad.
Because you got voted out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, also, to note, I made it to Final 3. I got 3rd place.
Katie popped off.
Just for anyone to wonder, actually, no, I did not fall off. I did nothing.
But okay,
that's why I got to Final 3.
But also, I feel like getting to Final 3 and not making moves is a very acceptable strategy. Well, we can get into this later on, like, jury tactics, but I think that can work.
Yeah, but I feel like you can't win unless everyone hates the other people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's happened in like real seasons, like Russell and Natalie White. I mean, she did make the moves.
Yeah.
But.
I mean, the only move that Callie made was playing 2 idols. just to get rid of
get
Rohan.
rid of Rohan. It was her idea.
Well, that was the same move, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, she didn't do that much either. I don't know. I think that it's a combination of your social game and if you make
also,
moves.
I think, not to discredit Callie, I think she definitely deserved to win. But also, we didn't have, like, a very balanced jury, because not everyone stayed. We only had, like,
Yeah.
how many? Like 6 people on the jury?
Yeah, something like that. Well, I was not there, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But yes, that was Survivor Season 1. I forget, Kit, do you remember the twists that there were? Because I remember there were a lot of crazy twists that were super cool.
Well, Dennis really pulled out all the stops. So there was one where, I don't really remember it chronologically.
Yeah.
But there was one where we had to, we've done this in future seasons too, where you have to vote off someone from your tribe. And then he was just like, surprise, the people that were voted off are going to be in a challenge. Which, I mean, that's a twist that's been brought up again and again. But that was, like, the first time. Well, obviously, because it was the first game. I don't remember what other twists he had. I don't really remember.
Yeah.
There was, during, I think this was the first merge challenge, but we all had to, like, raise our arm above our head for as long as we could. And in that challenge, he was like, if you, I'll give you a advantage in this game if you let go of your hand. And then Callie got one, and I think Gabe got one, right?
I don't know, I wasn't there.
Oh yeah, you weren't. No, you were there. I remember you were trying to do the challenge.
No, I was there, but I left partway through, so I didn't hear the advantage part.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was also the challenge where Armand passed out or fainted. Yeah, that was crazy. He sort of almost fainted twice. Actually, he fainted there, and then he sort of collapsed in one of the other challenges, which was crazy.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah. Also, one of the things that I really liked about Dennis's season was that he kept a lot of the challenges very similar to real Survivor challenges. Like, there was the balancing a statue while you're trying to knock down the other person's.
Yeah.
There was, like, a sumo wrestling type one. There was the arm raised one. I don't remember what else. But I feel like he did a good job keeping to that theme. So that was cool.
I think he kept the challenges pretty simple, and then, like, in future games, we've, like, developed them and made them more, like, I'm not going to say interesting, but, like, more complex. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, so also a very controversial part of Dennis's season, which I think everyone is just annoyed at Callie about because she dominated this, because she's friends with everyone, which is...
Oh my god, I forgot about this.
Yeah, this was, I think, the thing that most people, or at least most Survivor fans, found a little bit unfair about Dennis's season, but doesn't mean that it was the wrong choice. It's his season. We don't want to criticize it, which was... basically how it worked was the first few people that got voted off, they would randomly put their hand into like a box of advantages, and they'd pull one advantage out at random. I believe there were idols. Were there steal votes?
I'm not sure.
I think there were.
I don't remember.
I think there were like 3 or 4 different types of advantages. And there were not a lot of idols in there. There was also idol nullifiers. So basically, the first 2 people voted off were Sana and Annie? Question mark? Wait, no, not Annie. It was
Sana and...
No, it was Audil. It was Audil and then Sana and then Annie, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So, or was Sana voted out before Audil? I don't remember. Anyway, both Sana and Annie were very lucky, and they pulled idols, and then they both sent their idol to Callie, because you have to send it to someone. So they both sent... So Callie just started the game, basically, with 2 idols, and then Not to be, I'm a little bit salty about this, but Sophia, who wasn't even on my tribe, so I was very proud that she sent me something. She pulled a frickin' idol nullifier. And
Idol nullifier?
She pulled an idol nullifier, and then she sent it to me, which was absolutely useless. So that was a big L for me.
Funny.
Yeah, I'm very
I didn't
sad.
realize there was a nullifier in that. Wow, I did not know that.
Well, it was lost very early on, but yes, there was in fact an idol nullifier in the game. So yes, that was a more controversial twist. But then, other than that, I think there were 2 tribe swaps, which is very uncommon, especially because there were only 16 people in the game, or 14.
Yeah.
Were there 14?
I don't. Well, let me. Oh, I have my dog. There were 1, 2, 3, 4. 16.
Okay, 16.
14 was our game, I think.
No, what? We had 16 our game too.
Okay, we had 16 both games. Then.
Yeah. Okay. So season 1 had 16 players, and there were 2 tribe swaps, which is very uncommon. But that was.
Wait, there were 3 tribe swaps.
No, there were.
No, there were 2.
There were 2. It went from 2 tribes to 2 tribes to 3 tribes, and then there was a merge.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were just a lot of crazy twists in the game, and lots of amazing improvisation from Dennis about, like, for example, the hand thing. I don't think he had that planned out before. So,
yeah.
Overall, crazy season. Strategy-wise, well, what do you think strategy-wise? I'll give like a rating 1 through 10.
I would say it was really, there was a lot of strategy because everyone was just getting used to the game. I think the main strategy, well, I don't want to say we were a dominant 4, but Rohan, Joey Marcacci, Callie, and I were like in a very, very tight 4 together because we all knew how to play Survivor and stuff. So I feel like we kind of could. I wouldn't say. I feel I would say we controlled most of the votes.
Nice.
And I think that's like that's some strategy, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I witnessed very little strategy, which is okay. There doesn't always have to be a lot of strategy in the game. The thing that I disliked, though, was that there was so little strategy that for our tribes, Katie, we started on the same tribe, I believe. On the first tribal council, we attempted to do some strategy, and there were like 5 of us that agreed, okay, we're going to vote Annie. And then after Annie was voted out, everyone was so upset, and they felt horribly guilty. They were like, and they basically just, they swore off strategy. They were like, no, I can't strategize. Which,
I remember that.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So for any newcomers to Survivor, I recommend that you put aside guilt for the most part. You should still, of course, have feelings, and you should feel bad voting people out, I think, generally. But it's important that this game, your feelings should not be hurt this game. This isn't a game about personal feelings towards each other. It's more strategic and who you feel like you can trust, and it's not about personal attacks. So if you get voted out early on, there are plenty of reasons. It's not because people dislike you. It's just because people might think you're a threat, or people might think you're really good at challenges. There's tons of reasons, so don't take it as a blow to your personality, I guess.
Yeah. Like, that's very important, and I feel like that's what a lot of us learned, not me, but the new people in Season 1. And I think that's how our game has gone progressively more strategic. It's because people, like, accept the fact that you have to vote people out and you have to make moves and stuff, but it's just a game. Like, I would say it's much harder for us just because we're all friends. Yeah. And in the actual game, it's like 20 strangers.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it's just a fun game. And I feel like now no one really takes it personally, which is good.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Okay. Here, can I introduce something cool? Because I think this is fun. Okay, can we have a 1 to 10 point voting system, or not voting system, just can we rank each season 1 through 10 on strategy? Okay.
On the strategy or the general season?
How about both? Why not? Why
Okay.
not?
What's your ranking?
I would say overall game out of 10, I'll give it, since it's the first one and it's the starting one, I think I will give it a 7.
Okay.
What about you?
On the overall season, I would probably give it either. I'm trying to think of my answer carefully.
Yeah, don't offend Dennis.
I think I would give it a 7 or
Okay.
a 6.5.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it was like the best it could be, and Dennis did a like amazing job. But comparing it to like the newer seasons,
Yeah,
like
Dennis and
obviously,
Conrad.
and strategy, I'd probably give like a 5.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 4 on strategy. I mean, there's got to be at least one below average, so. Okay, well, I think that's enough for season 1.
2?
Season 2. Well, I'll quickly explain the backstory on season 2. Basically, after Survivor season 1, I believe Dennis would like mention something like, "Yo, Quincy, if you want to run," and I was honored when he said this. If you're interested in like running a Survivor season 2, because we had actually discussed running a Survivor before Survivor season 1 happened. We had discussed running a Survivor together, I think. So he was like, "Yo, Quincy, if you want to run a season 2, like during winter break or something, that would be epic." And at the time, I was like, "Yeah, that would be cool." And I was like, "Yeah, that would be really awesome." And I didn't really think about it that much, but of course, I love Survivor. So as it got nearer, I was like, "What if we actually did this?" So basically, I asked Dennis, and he was like, "Yeah, you should go for it." So then, me, Callie, Katie, and James, Survivor. We were the CB squad. I remember.
Yeah.
And we ran the second Survivor. This one was also in person. Starting a little bit later. I think it started at 7? 6:30?
I think it was 8.
8. Oh, really? 8. Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got there at 7:30. I remember.
Huh. Okay. Yes. So, and a lot of people were coming from Emiliano's New Year's party. But people were coming from all over the place this time. And, well, you can go into like what was the experience like for you? That was the backstory of how that game came to be.
Honestly, to be frank, I don't remember a lot from that season because, personally, I was very stressed out hosting. I mean, it was super fun,
Yeah.
but like you have to think of so many things and like idols and advantages and challenges and stuff and votes. So it was very stressful. Also, I won't name names, but basically, I kind of I messed up on one of the challenges. I was counting wrong. That was for everyone, and then one team like blamed me. Even the losing team blamed me, even though I was counting for both of the teams. It wasn't like I was counting for one.
Yeah.
And then they were all like, "Let's put out Katie," and it was like throughout the whole game. I think it's funny thinking about it now, but I was just very stressed out already, so that just like made it worse. But otherwise, it was a fun time.
Yeah, and I would say in regards to that conflict, I don't think I even realized it was happening. I didn't even realize until like 4 hours later in the day, and I was like, "Why do people keep saying vote out Katie? I don't get it." And then someone told me what had happened, and then when I was watching the footage, I saw what happened, and honestly, like I understand why the losing team was upset about it, and like I understand. Like, I mean, it was partially your fault. Because
I do say it was my fault,
yeah.
But I don't think they...
I don't think they should have...
that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the first one. Like, I thought it was funny at first.
Yeah.
But, like, when they kept saying it was just like, I was already tired. I pulled an all-nighter.
Yeah, it's just like it's a personal attack. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit uncalled for.
No, I won't blame them. They were
mad. Justice. Yeah, but besides that, overall, I mean, I feel like we spent a good amount of time planning out the season. It was still, this, remember, is earlier on in the evolution of Gunn Theatre Survivor, so we didn't want to have any big twists or like huge twists. We wanted to keep it fairly simple and straightforward, but we did have some pretty good twists. There was the card stacking challenge where people from opposite teams paired up.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, that was very cool. And then at Merge, when there were 8 people left, they split into 2 tribes, and then they each had their own.
Like that.
I actually don't love it, just because it's so random. So I feel like I feel like it can totally screw up someone's game, and it can also totally it can also totally save someone's game. But I feel like, at least, okay, in the real Survivor, there is more luck than I personally would like in a Survivor game. So something like that, and like even tribe swaps, like sometimes you're just swapped into a tribe where you literally cannot do anything.
Yeah, I mean, like, I personally like that stuff just because, like, Survivor's supposed to be, like, a very unfair and unpredictable game, but I see where you're coming from. Yeah. I mean, like, if I was on that other side, I would think, like, it was good and fair and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think it's not horrible, but I do think it's, like, an unneeded, another just unfair thing, I guess. But anyway, moving on from that, what other things? There weren't a whole lot of twists. There was a twist where we started with 3 tribes, and then we swapped to 2, so there was a bit of a twist there. That was also the first time that we had people at the very beginning vote someone out. So everyone voted, and then Otto was voted out, but then we were like, surprise! And the 3 tribes then competed in a challenge to win Otto back onto their team. So that was very cool.
I like that twist, yeah.
I like that twist. And a lot of these twists carried on into the Season 4 Survivor. Yeah. Not as much in Season 3, but in Season 4, there was a similar one to the card stacking challenge, being 20 questions, and there was also a similar vote out as to the auto vote out. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, overall, quick summary of the game. Okay, do you want to summarize real quick? I've been talking too much.
How many? It was like 16 people. 16. We were at Gunn High School.
What a location.
What?
What a location. It was a really good location.
Yeah. I really liked how we had it at Gunn, because Briones Park is kind of small, so there were like a lot more places we could hide advantages.
Yeah.
And like a lot more ground, except for I feel like we did a really good job with making sure we didn't waste time. I mean, with like all that trekking to like other side of the campus, I think we did well with it.
I think we did very well with time as well. Yeah.
And I really liked a lot of the challenges we did. I especially liked the one like the chalk grid, like they do something similar in Survivor, and also Q&A, like the survey one. Yeah. That's always been my favorite challenge.
And there was also the Dark Horse Challenge, which I think everyone remembers, which was the famous James's Hot Seat Challenge, where they jumped from the senior quad benches to different senior quad benches, trying to run away from different seats. Hard to explain, but it was very fun and epic to watch.
It's like the floor is lava, kind of.
Yeah, basically James would name a certain amount of the benches, and then you had to move off of those benches in a very short amount of time, and remember which benches were the ones you couldn't go on. So, it was very cool.
I think we really thought out all the challenges and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think this is Callie's idea, but the whole thing where each idol was hidden at the same camp, I mean, like, they do that in the actual show sometimes. Yeah. I remember, like, I think Coron.
There's quite a few.
What I can think of right now. Or quite a few. But
there was, like, China, and there was the season where Ty got to.
Coron, yeah.
Yeah, Coron. I don't remember the other ones, but Okay, I know you don't like it. I think it's fine. What?
I don't like it.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I feel like in our game, it just. I think it works okay in like actual Survivor, but in our game, because like it's so hard to find idols in actual Survivor. But our game, it was like, I guess somewhat easier. So.
Yeah, I think we all expected the idols to be found a little bit, or actually, I mean, two of the idols were found very quick, and then there was one idol that took a longer time to find.
Yeah.
But I do also want to say that I don't think Joey and Carowin, the two finders of the initial idols, had much of an advantage when they got to the merged tribe in finding that third idol. So, I don't know. It wasn't horrible.
Yeah, I think it was fine. And I think the strategy was better, definitely better in this game, because people kind of got the hang of how to play it and stuff. And I think there was also, it was like this. Oh, actually, no. I'll get to that in season 3.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, also. Yeah. Sorry, go for it.
No, you go. I was just going to say I don't have anything else to say about it.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, as a very quick summary of the game, since I think we'll get more into like the actual details of the game in season 3 and season 4. But just to go over it very quickly, a bunch of people actually had to leave earlier on. So they were our medical evacuations. But then we had some pretty good challenges. Then there was a tribe swap, crazy stuff. But most of the stuff that happened was post merge. Kendra ended up finding 2 steal-a-votes, big plays by her. Joey had 2 fake immunity idols. That was crazy as well. And, like, he hid them.
He also had one in season 1.
Yes, I forgot about that. But yeah, he hid 2 fake immunity idols, and he ended up finding 2 immunity idols as well. And then...
Oh, no, he only found 1.
No, he got...
Sophia gave him the other one.
Sophia gave him the other one, because she had to leave. So, yeah, that is true. Let's see. Post-merge... one tribe had the minority. It was Danica, Xander, and Joey, and a D, versus Dennis, Noam, Carowin, Raymundo, Kendra.
I don't remember this.
And Ray? Did I already say Ray?
No. Or Xander?
No, Xander was in the minority. Well, I remember this because I spent hours and hours editing. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it was... I don't remember. It was 5-on-4. So it was Xander. Here, I'm going to do this one more time. Xander, Joey, Danica, and a D versus Dennis, Noam, Carowin, Ray, and Kendra. And so what ended up happening was the majority split the votes because they used a steal-a-vote. Kendra used one of her steal-a-votes, and they stole Danica's vote and split between Danica and Xander. And Dennis was able to convince a D to switch sides and vote with them. So then... Danica went home. Then we had the 2 things where the 8 split into 2 tribes and they each voted someone out. It was Dennis, a D, Xander, and Kendra on one tribe. So Xander was the only one in the minority because the D had flipped. And then on the other side, it was Raymundo, Joey, Noam, and Carowin. But Joey had an idol, so Carowin and Noam decided to flush and get rid of Joey's idol and vote out Ray. So then Ray went home, and then it was final 6, and then everyone decided that Dennis was the biggest threat, although it was back and forth between Joey and Dennis for a long time. But Joey ended up getting sent home. I mean, Dennis ended up getting sent home, much to Adi's doing, actually. Adi convinced Carowin and Kendra last minute. And then it was final 5, and then... Who was... Oh, then there was the crazy tribal council, where that was the last time to play an idol, and everyone thought that everyone but Adi had an idol. Turns out that Kendra's idol was fake, and I believe what happened was Adi I don't remember exactly. Basically, I think Adi got 2 votes, and then Kendra, Carowin, and Joey each got 1 vote. Carowin and Joey played their idols. No one was immune. So then a D went home. Then it was Final Four, and Joey won. And then no one was voted out because he was the biggest threat. And then it was Final Three, and so they had their speech, and Carowin got all of the votes but one, and Joey got that vote. So,
Wait, who voted for Joey?
It was Xander.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep, it was a pretty crazy game. Carowin definitely took a more social strategy. Yeah. Joey took a more strategic strategy, but Carowin was also totally strategizing a lot. And Kendra, because she didn't know people as well, I think she was sort of forced to take more of a sort of under the radar approach. But she still.
But I think that worked for her really well.
I think that worked for her. Unfortunately, she didn't get votes at the end because she didn't make any huge moves. Even though she found 2 steal votes, she just didn't know people as well and therefore wasn't able to make moves. So she didn't get as many. She didn't get any votes at the end. But yeah, crazy season. Awesome winner. Carowin, very deserving. So yeah, great season.
Great. So, do you want to move? Oh wait, we need to do our ranking first.
Oh yeah, good point. I almost forgot. Okay, you can go first. Let's hear it.
I would say strategic wise, like probably a 7. I think it was pretty good strategic wise. Yeah. And then overall season, I'd probably give it like an 8.
Yeah, I think I will go 7 as well. And then because I said the last one was a 7 overall, right? So I would say this is an 8 overall as well.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give 6.5 to the first one. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Let's move on to my favorite season.
Oh, your favorite?
Both of our favorite seasons.
Hey, speak for yourself. I liked season 4 a lot, so...
well... Okay.
Okay, go for it, KT. Take the lead.
So season 3 was our first Discord Survivor game, and that was run by Armand. He did he actually did a really good job, because it was just him. The other seasons have been multiple people, except for the first one, but I think Colin helped Dennis.
Yeah, no, Colin and Dennis were both doing the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So Armand did a really good job, especially since he isn't he isn't a Survivor fan, and so he kind of really based off. Well, in my opinion, I think he based off everything off of previous seasons and just his imagination. So I think with this season, there were less. I would say there were less twists in this season than previous seasons.
Yeah.
I think it was. This is personally my favorite season, but we can get into my opinion later. There are a lot of fun challenges. He found a really good balance to figure out how we do challenges on Discord, and that was really fun, and I enjoyed it. Yeah. But what would you like to say about it before we get into our opinions?
Yeah, so I would say similar in the way that Dennis started in real life Survivor. Armand started Discord Survivor, and I think in that way it was definitely much harder for him. I think it was a wonderful season. The biggest things I would say, though, are because he was not a fan, there were things that, people that have watched Survivor or know more about Survivor, it was a little bit unexpected. So I think the biggest things that I view as negative, but aren't necessarily negative, just not similar to Survivor.
Not what we were expecting.
Yeah, things that we weren't expecting were tribe swap happened extremely late. There's not always a tribe swap, but I believe, what was it? We started with 22 or 23 people, right? And then the tribe swap happened at 15, I want to say.
Yeah, it was pretty late, because, I would say, how many tribes? There are 2 tribes.
No, there were 3
tribes.
Well, no, sorry. They started with 2, and then they swapped into 3, and I think we each had 5.
Oh, yeah, no, so we started in 2. For the most part, what I remember, I think my tribe, we pretty much dominated in every challenge, right?
Yeah. Our tribe was not the best at challenges. We voted out, I think, you guys voted out one person pre-swap. And then you also lost
we
Ben
voted
because
out Colin, and then Ben had to
and Ben had to leave. And we voted out 5 people, maybe?
Oh my god.
I think it was 5. There was a lot of people. I think we must have started with 22. And
Something like that.
if that's the case, then we voted out. How many people were left? There were 6 of us left. So yeah, we voted out 5 people. We voted out Kendra, Annalise, Audil. Those 3 all had to leave, and then we voted out Adi and Annie.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think one really surprising thing was how late the tribe swap was. Normally there are not 7, 6. Yes, there were 7 vote out. 8 people left before the tribes swapped. Wait, can I do math? No, 7 people left. Yeah, sorry. 7 people left before the tribes swapped. And then it was an extremely late merge, too. 1, 2, 3. I believe another 5 people were voted out.
Let me check. When we started the merge, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We started merge at 9.
Yeah, so that was also a pretty late merge, especially considering we started with 22 people. So that was also very surprising. But that's just how it goes, I guess.
And then also, another big thing was idols.
Yes. Go for it. I don't even want to speak about it.
Usually, in Survivor, idols are hidden, and you, earn your way to find an idol. But the way Armand did it was, our idols were, triggered by events. So he picked, a couple of events, and if you, triggered it, you would get an idol. For example, we played Quiplash. Was it Quiplash? Yeah, we played Quiplash, which is a Jackbox game. And the first he wrote down the first person to get the first Quiplash would get an idol. So it was basically mainly on luck. It wasn't on finding things, which, I don't think it was necessarily bad. It's just we weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
And I think, personally, I like finding idols, because there's no way you could, actually find one, because it was just triggered by stuff.
Yeah. So that was definitely new. Other than that, one twist that, not to say I disliked these twists, they were just very unexpected, and a little bit at the time, they stressed me out, because I was like, what is this? This is so strange. But one twist that I actually really liked was his captain's thing. So how that worked was the first challenge, we all competed individually in the world's Impossible Quiz.
Yeah, it was the Impossible game.
Yeah, the Impossible Quiz. Excuse you.
Yeah.
And then the 2 winners of that, who got the highest, were James and Seabass, and they became captains, and they each got to pick one person to bring onto their tribe. And then the rest was randomized. But then they did all of the Discord stuff, and they were the leaders of our tribe. And it was really cool. And I really liked that touch.
Captains,
yeah, very cool.
And then we also did that in season 4, kind of.
Did we?
Well, you did captains or something.
Huh. I was not even aware that we did that. Whoops.
Well, we can talk about that later.
Yeah. But yes, that was overall gameplay. Also important thing, yeah, he had Island 4, more classically known in the world of Survivor as Edge of Extinction. And basically everyone was kept there. And then very near the end of the game, they had a final challenge. So all the people that were voted out got to compete in it, and Dennis won. So he was brought back into the game, into the final 4. Yeah, that definitely messed me and Katie up a little bit, but oh well. So he was brought back into the final 4. So that was also another cool twist that Armand included.
Personally, I did. Well, okay, this is just because I'm salty, but personally, I didn't like that because usually in the Edge, you get voted. The person who gets voted in. There have been 2 Edge seasons, so one person that gets gets voted in at the merge. I mean, not voted. Wins the challenge at the merge, which didn't do. And then the second one is usually at the final 5, and then it makes it a final 6. That's how usually it is. But he did it so Quincy, Danica, and I all thought we were going to final 3, and then he added Dennis, which I personally did not think it was fair to the other players and Dennis, because I feel like if you come back from the edge, you really want to take those last couple of rounds to like prove yourself and like prove your game, actually play the game. It's like, say it was like Annie who came back, like she would have had no chance because she got voted out so early that she didn't have time to play the game.
Yeah.
And then also I think it was unfair to us because usually you have a couple rounds to like even work with the person because it was just a challenge.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I also did not love, just because it was as you said, very late that Dennis came in, so all he had to do in order to secure a spot in the final 3 was win a challenge. So that was a little bit annoying, especially because then he won, so he was guaranteed into the final 3. And that was probably the only way that he would have gone in. But hey, big congrats to Dennis. He outplayed all of us in that mind game.
Well, not you.
Well, I mean, he did outplay me, so yeah.
I guess.
And then in the end, it was me, Katie, Danica. Well, in the end, it was me, Katie, Danica, and James were final 4. And then, Katie, you won the final challenge. And then us 3 voted out James, unfortunately, because he was a big threat. And then Dennis came back. Dennis won the final challenge. And the way that works is at final 4, this is in the rules as well, but in final 4, the winner of the challenge picks 2 people to fight it out. And he picks one person to bring with him to the final 3. So he picked Danica to bring to the final 3. And he made Katie and I, who were the tightest alliance of the game, so sad. He made us duel it out. And I ended up winning the fire-making challenge. And then it was me, Danica, and Dennis in the finals. And I ended up winning. Oh yeah! Booyah! Yeah. True story.
Do you want to talk a little about strategy in this game? And I can talk about like my strategy specifically.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm not playing the next game, so
I
don't think really.
Yeah. For people that are like, the reason that I probably won't talk a whole lot about strategy in this game, this season. Yeah, Katie, you should go for it. Is just because I don't want people to be influenced, and also why we're not talking about people's specific strategy. For example, like we're not talking about how Dennis or James or any other returning players played, because we don't want to influence your view on people. You'll see in the game, and I'm sure that returning players will tell people how other people played, but we don't want to make it unfair because this could be considered pre-gaming, I guess, because we're influencing people. So we're going to try to not do that as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say this is pre-gaming, because pre-gaming is like making alliances and stuff. And I'm not playing games.
Yeah, of course. I just wanted to make it clear why we're not going into a lot of detail. But also, I think for Season 4, we can go into a little bit more detail because 3 of the returning... I think there's 8 returning players in this coming season. 3 of them, me, Dennis, and James, all led Season 4. So
yeah.
Okay, but yeah, what are your thoughts on the strategy, and what were your thoughts when you were playing Season 3?
Also to our viewers, the way our mom did it, we were allowed to text anyone at any point on any tribe, which is different from Season 4 and Season 5, because you could only use the provided voice channels and the group text things, and not private DMs.
Yeah.
So I just want to do that. I really want to prove myself in this season because I feel like I did fairly well in my previous season, but I didn't, I've always liked Survivor because or like players who've made really big moves and like changed the game. And I don't think I did that in the first game. So I wanted to like kind of redeem myself with this second chance.
Yeah.
And so I really, since pre-gaming was allowed, I really reached out to a lot of people. Like Quincy and I made a very, very tight alliance, which, I mean, I think I underestimated how many other alliances you made, but
Yes.
I was hoping that you were staying true to this one, which you were.
Yeah.
And then I reached out to like Swaffy and Callie and Joey Marcacci and Rohan, and I talked a little with Fati and Ray, possibly, and other people.
Yeah.
So I think that's, like, I really wanted to make like tight bonds first, because I feel like, yeah. So I made tight bonds and stuff, and I think what really helped me was my alliances, and that let me make big moves. Like, well, I don't want to brag. No, I'm just kidding. But I wouldn't say because also people helped me, but I was the one who completely blindsided Callie.
Yes,
I was the one who brought that idea. So I'll claim that, and kind of Swaffy, but you helped me too.
Yeah.
So I think collectively, me and Quincy blindsided
a few people.
mostly. I'll just say mostly me for this podcast.
Sure.
Callie, Swaffy, Noam, Joey Marcacci, Xander, Aneta.
Oh my god. Was it really this many? Oh, I guess it was.
I wouldn't say Colin because you weren't on that list, but
Hey, no, you got Colin. You got Colin. And I mean, not all of those. I wouldn't classify all of them as blind sides. But yes,
yeah.
I do think
Those
that.
are like our major vote outs.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. If I were to give this game like a title about the type of strategy it was, which is not generally true. I mean, it is, of course, but this one is like way more, which is I would call it an individual game. And
yeah.
The reason I say that is because generally how Survivor works is you are constrained to your tribe. So you're only allowed to talk to your tribe, generally speaking, and everyone sees when you're spending time with people and when you're talking with them. But the reason this game was so different was for two big reasons, or maybe three big reasons. First big reason was pre-gaming was allowed. So I think a lot of people, particularly, well, I won't say names, but there definitely were a lot of people, me included, that took advantage of pre-gaming and reached out to as many people as possible to form alliances before the game started, which of course is now banned because we realized it's definitely unfair.
Yeah, it's too powerful.
Yeah, it's too powerful. But that was a big thing that made it much more individual because people were forming a lot of alliances, and obviously they could not keep all of them. And then another big thing was, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, well the whole texting thing, because yeah, as you said, texting was the means of communication. So the two big things about this were that no one could see who else you were talking to. Only you knew who you were talking to. So you could have been talking to everyone, and no one would know. And then the other big thing was that you could talk to people on the other tribe. So there were a lot more alliances made, which made it a very crazy and hectic game, and there were a lot of blind sides as a result, because no one could see who was talking to who.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my take on the strategy of the game. And I do think that, I mean, that was definitely a viable way that you and I think primarily it was us, but also some other people, the way that we played. But I do think it is very good that it's banned now, because now we have a more traditional way in how Survivor is meant to be played.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it was fun for that game, but I feel like it's too unfair.
Yeah, there was...
no people are taking advantage of that. So.
Yeah. Also, I do just want to quickly say, sorry, I made it sound like I was going to keep talking about Survivor. I meant it more like, also, I don't know how to say the word also, clearly. I was just going to say, Katie, we are at 54 and a half minutes right now. Can we go a little bit over an hour, do you think?
Oh, yeah, I don't care.
Okay. This is going to be a little bit longer because we want to go over the seasons, but I think also teaching some like basic strategy, like split the vote, flipping, or like whatever, just so like people know what these things are. And I guess, yeah, that.
Otherwise, I'm good.
What?
I have Survivor planning at 4, but otherwise, I'm good.
Okay. Sounds good. So where are we? I feel like we summed up season 3 pretty well,
Yeah,
right?
I think we did pretty well. So
Okay.
let's give our rankings then.
Oh yeah. Okay, so for me, overall, well, actually, I'll go strategy first. Strategy, I would give it an 8, I think. Yeah, I would say I would give it an 8 strategy-wise. And then overall, for the first Discord game, well, it's a very different vibe, but for a Discord Survivor, I would give it a solid 7.5, I would say. Maybe an 8.
Actually, I think I would give it the same score, 8.
Yeah.
Maybe a 7.5 for strategy, and then an 8 for the game.
Yeah. I think that's about right. And the reason that I'm putting strategy a little bit low is just because it was so much that therefore it was sort of neutralized within itself. Yeah, and it did feel a little bit like you and I were in control most of the time, and therefore it was not as much strategy. I can't speak. So
yeah, it was us dominating.
oh yeah. But anyway, I guess on to season 4, run by Dennis, James, Noam, and I. What a season. Where to start? So I think for this season, this is the strategy 100% was really kicked off in season 3. It was a pretty big jump from season 2 to season 3 strategically.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think online, there's just automatically going to be more strategy online because it's easier to. I don't know why, but I feel like it's easier to strategize online.
Well, also because like we took away a lot of the physical aspects of it, so you really focus on the social aspects.
Yeah, that's true as well. Good point. So I don't remember exactly the history of how it started, but everyone was like super excited about, or not everyone, but a lot of the Survivor fans were super excited for a new season, and we were like, oh my god, we gotta have a new season as quick as possible. So basically, it only left Dennis, Noam, James, and I with like 2.5 weeks to plan, which was not a long time. So basically, I think this was mainly Dennis's idea, and we were all like, yes, this is an epic idea. And his idea was, okay, from the start, the first season, pretty hectic, pretty crazy, lots of twists. But every game since has gotten less and less twists and has become, like, simpler. So, we want to make it as crazy a season as possible, throwing tons of twists, tons of advantages, all of that stuff in. And I think we did a pretty good job. We had fire tokens, for those of you that know regular Survivor. We don't need to go into detail on what fire tokens are. Basically, everyone started with one, and then you could give them to other players, and then when players were voted out, they would give all of their fire tokens to people still in the game. And then you could buy advantages and stuff with fire tokens. And then, so that was one big twist. And then the other big thing was the Edge of Extinction. And the way that worked is after people were voted out and they lost their fire tokens, they had the choice to go to the Edge of Extinction. And on the Edge, we had challenges. And some of those challenges... Sorry. My mom's phone is connected to this computer. So when her phone rings, it rings on this computer. My bad. Anyway. Not important. But yes, on the Edge, there were challenges, and we actually had it where the last person to place in some of the challenges would be eliminated from the Edge. And on the Edge, the winners of the challenges, the first place winner would get an advantage that they could sell to someone in the game for fire tokens. And if the person that they were trying to send it to in the game paid the fire tokens, the person on the Edge that sent it would get those fire tokens. and then second place would get to send some fire tokens into the game. And then there were also fire token or endurance challenges, generally speaking, where people had to do some really annoying challenge, and then they would get a few fire tokens. And on the edge, what fire tokens did was they didn't allow to buy advantages, but there were 2 get back into the game challenges. One at the merge and one at final 6. And the people on the edge could use their fire tokens to buy advantages for the get back into the game challenge. And then the winner of that challenge would get back into the game, and the rest of the people would be stuck on the edge until the second get back into the game challenge, and then they just became jury members. Yeah, those were the 2 big twists. Then we started with, I don't remember what the other twists were. Do you remember what the other twists were? I'm trying to think.
Oh, wait, I was about to talk about this. Wait, hold on. I forgot.
Also, I feel bad because I just talked for so long.
No, you're fine. Oh, yeah, I don't think we've done this in, Gunn Theatre Survivor before.
Yeah.
But, when there were 2 tribes, I think it was 2 tribes after tribe swap, we combined the tribes together for one tribal council, so you could only vote out one person on either tribe, and which, they do that in the game sometimes, and I thought it was interesting. I think it's fun. Well, it wasn't fun for me because I was about to be voted out,
yes.
but, I mean, it was hypothetically, yeah.
Yeah, that is a cool twist that I wish they had on more in Survivor, whereas right after the swap, everyone went to Tribal Council, and it acted like a merged tribe. Everyone could vote for any of the people. And and then it was very close. It was between you and Chloe, right?
Yeah.
And Chloe ended up...
The next, 3 votes were just all either me or someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, so this season also had a dominant tribe. It was after the swap, one of the tribes won almost every single challenge, I believe.
Yeah, and that was not my tribe.
That was not your tribe, unfortunately. So and sadly, Katie got voted out. You survived pretty long because you had a fairly big threat painted on your back from the last season because you had made it so far.
And I blindsided people and other stuff.
Yeah. So, but you did a very good job, and Rohan ended up targeting Katie, I believe. And as a result, Katie, even after the swap, I believe first Ray was voted out, and Annie, I think, were both voted out before you. And then you got voted out. What?
No, it was Annie. Yeah, no, actually, you're right. Yeah, you're so right.
Yeah, so Annie and Ray, and then Rohan pulled enough people to get you out. But then as a result, he fractured his own alliance, and then they voted him out. So that was pretty crazy.
Also, to mention that the vote after Chloe and me, and then Chloe got voted out, was a tie between Ray and me. And then I thought I was going home because no one would talk to me. And then Ray ended up going home by one more vote than I did. And then I got voted out the next time. But,
yeah. That was very sad. But yes, 'tis the
but
truth.
to mention, I won the first Edge Get Back In challenge.
Oh, yeah.
After only being on the edge for one round.
That was
Got
crazy.
back in, and I think I lasted 3 or 4 more tribal councils, which I'm pretty proud of.
Yeah, you had a very successful game, I would say. But let's see. So other things. Oh, one of the huge twists of the game was... actually, before I get into that twist, advantage-wise, because people from the edge were constantly sending advantages into the game, that led to a very large amount of advantages in the game. We had the game loaded with advantages. There were also a lot of idols, and there were some half-idols, And there was also a more powerful idol, which lasted until Final 5 instead of Final 6. And all of those were hidden around, and there were also clues to them hidden around. So that was very fun to create those hiding spots. Big shout out to James for coming up with most of those ideas. And then, the big other twist was also, this was, I believe, Dennis's idea, the auction. Basically, well, actually, how about you explain the auction? You know what the auction was. I'm also curious what your thoughts were on it.
We got rid of this in actual Survivor for a good reason.
What'd you say?
They got rid of this in actual Survivor for a good reason.
Yeah, because everyone just waited.
The auction was, everyone had fire tokens, and Dennis would put something up in the auction. For example, like an advantage in this game, and then they would, like a regular auction, you would bid how many fire tokens. I personally do not like Survivor auctions, but I think it was a fun element to the game.
Yeah. So this was another thing where fire tokens came in handy to have, because you were bidding your fire tokens that you had gotten throughout the game. And basically, the thing that I didn't love about this was there was so much randomness. And as we know, I don't love randomness, but it was still fun. And basically how it worked was they were basically all hidden. They were all hidden advantages, except there were actually a few sort of disadvantages. And everyone, it was cool. It was a bidding auction, and a lot of people won different things. And it was very fun. And they were all hidden except for the winner of the first thing that was put up to bid was individual immunity at the tribal council. So that was the only thing that was available or shown, and then everything else was hidden. And some cool things were won. And yeah, I mean, we can get into strategy more in this one, because the big strategic players, I think, are not playing in this coming season. It was mainly, who do you think the big...
Carol, Armand, and stuff.
Yeah, Carowin, Armand, Danica, Adi made it pretty far. Avery made it pretty far. Yeah. Annie absolutely dominated the edge, winning almost every single challenge, and then winning it back in with an idol. That was crazy. So, let's see. I'm trying to think. Where should we go?
Personally, I'll go a little strategy.
Yeah.
I think the strategy was really... I think the strategy was, the best in this game, I would say, personally.
I agree.
Because we had it in, the general voice channels, that it was harder to, talk to people, that's what it's supposed to be in the game. And I think strategy I think it went well. There was a lot of good moves, especially, I really liked Carolyn's move at the end, where she basically told Danica that if she didn't take Carolyn to the final 3, then she would have purposely lost the challenge to Armand.
Yeah.
And then Armand would have been in the final, which he won anyway. But
yeah.
I really like that move.
That was a very good move.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, for context, Danica won the final 4 challenge, so she got to pick one person to bring with her. And she was probably it seemed like she was going to pick Avery, but she didn't want... Danica's main thing was she didn't want Armand to make it to the end, because she thought Armand was the biggest threat. And Carowin said, if you don't pick me, I'll purposely lose to Armand, and Armand will make it to the final 3. So Danica picked Carowin. But yeah, as you said, Armand made it anyway, so...
Yeah, but I really like that move to an extent. And then there were some good moves. I mean, I believe this is a good move. Actually, never mind.
What?
I was gonna... No, it's fine.
Okay.
Oh, well, yeah, there was a really good move when
Yeah.
Armand bought out Callie. That was a good move.
Yes. Armand ended up betraying basically Seabass, Callie, and Armand. He told Seabass that Callie and Xander were trying to get out Seabass, and therefore Seabass voted out Callie, and then they voted out Seabass, and then they voted out Xander. So Armand played all of them. So GG boy, you got him. um, but yeah, there was definitely a lot of strategy. It was pretty crazy, especially because people on opposite tribes could not talk to each other except through a cross-tribal chat where two people could come from any of the tribes into that voice channel and they could talk to each other. And that was used a lot actually, so some different alliances were made and it was very interesting. Definitely the most convoluted and crazy strategic game, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, in the end, Danica won. I think it was 6 votes to Danica, 3 votes to Armand, 1 vote to Carowin. Carowin basically endorsed Danica in the final 3 and said, yo, don't vote for me, you should vote for Danica. But she still got 1 vote, and we'll never know why. Well, I know why, but other people will never know why.
Oh, I know who voted for Carolyn.
Oh, well, if that person wants to say, then they can, but I will not reveal their confidentiality.
Of course, of course.
Of course, of course. Well, that's all the games. I think can we just like touch on like basic Survivor stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, let's think. Okay. Well, we can start with the 3 pieces of Survivor strategy generally, which is the famous catchphrase outwit, outplay, and outlast. I never completely understood the catchphrase because I still don't understand what outlast means. Obviously, the people that make it to the end outlasted everyone else.
Well, I have my own theory about what it means, my own interpretation.
What's your interpretation?
My interpretation, outlast, is well, okay, I'll go through all of them.
Yeah.
But outwit is being a very strategic player. You make big moves, you strategize a lot, and you have alliances. Outplay is you are a very challenge beast. You do really well at challenges, and you help your tribe. Therefore, people don't want to vote you out. And then also in merge challenges, you're good at getting immunities in individual immunity challenges. And then my theory about what outplay is, I think of it more as you make I would say outwit is more the manipulated it. I can't speak. That was not what I was trying to say. Outwit is the very strategic player, but more towards blind sides and betraying people. And I think outplay is making strong alliances and being there's one player that comes to mind, not in Gun Theatre Survivor, but Ken McNichol from Millennials vs. Gen X.
Wait, don't spoil anything. I'm watching that season right now.
Wait, but this is just he prided himself in honesty and truth, and he was a very loyal person. And that's what I categorize outplay as. You are very loyal to your alliances, and you stay with them, and you stick with them, so they trust you. And you make, I would say it's necessarily make it far, but you outplay. You play with your alliance, rather yourself.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's my...
Wait, what about outlast, though?
Oh, no, that's outlast, not outplay.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, yeah, it seems like... Okay. Yeah, outlast, being loyal, sticking with the tribe. That makes sense. But, yeah, I think for general newcomers to the game, every game is different. The main idea is that, depending on how it goes, you often want to be talking a little bit of strategy with people, at least. Try to see where people's heads are at. See if you can keep... I think early on, especially if it's a game with a lot of newcomers and they don't have as much experience with the strategy of Survivor, just trying to make sure that it isn't you that's going home. And finding people that you can trust and trying to make sure that they can still trust you and that you guys will work together. And then, so I think also very important is tribe unity. So even if someone, let's say, for example, Katie and I were on a tribe, and then everyone else voted out me. Now, Katie might feel a little bit isolated because she has no one to work with. Her only ally was voted out. So what needs to happen is, generally speaking, the tribe needs to stay unified as much as people can, because what happens is at tribe swaps and at the merge, tribes stay together and they vote together so that their tribe can make it farther in the game, is the general idea. So trying to keep tribe unity and then working together at the merge is a common thing that happens. However, if you are maybe at the bottom of your tribe, this also sometimes happens at tribe swaps, that person may do what is called flipping. And basically what flipping is betraying your old alliance and going to work with other people. So, for example, let's say Katie and I and person A, B, and C were in a newly swapped tribe. And Katie and I started on a tribe together, and those A, B, and C started on a tribe together. But C was going to be the next one voted out, or they felt that way, and they felt like their tribe didn't really want to work with them. C could say, these people don't like me anyway, I'm going to go work with Katie and Quincy, and I'm going to vote out my old tribe mates. So that also sometimes happens.
It does.
And then at the merge, everything gets crazy because everyone has different people that they want to work with, and it gets insane, and I think people sort of just have to see how that goes for themselves. Generally, though, my main comment would be prioritize relationships in the game from relationships outside of the game.
Exactly, yes.
Because it's much easier to work with a tribe mate that you've been working with in the game than just one of your good friends, because they might have other people that they're already working with. So, but of course that's not always true. So it very much depends on who you feel you can trust and who you think trusts you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then, Katie, do you want to explain? I've never had a good concept of, like, jury management. I've never been good at that. So, yeah.
I mean, also, I've not been very good about it. But jury management, if you don't know, basically everyone who's voted out gets to be on, or if they would like to be, gets to be on the jury, which means they vote. Each of them has a vote to who they think should win Survivor at the final three. And so it's really important to make sure you keep your relationships good with people, so they wouldn't have like any hard feelings and then vote for someone else. I think I would say jury management can happen in multiple ways. By like maybe pretending you didn't flip on them, or like staying true with the majority. I think that's also a good thing. Staying true with the majority. But the way I've experienced jury management, I haven't personally had to do any, because I think in our game specifically, this is like a special case. It's Quincy and, well, I wouldn't say Quincy and I are like the best players. We definitely were not the best players in that. Well, Quincy was, because he won. But
thank you.
Like the fact that people that were voted out maybe were a little salty to begin with, but respected the game that Quincy or I played more than their saltiness, and fought for more overall of people's games rather their own feelings. But obviously it can go either way. Some people vote with their feelings, some people don't. So it's kind of hard to figure out who's doing what. But it's important to keep good relationships with people after they're voted out.
Yeah.
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 Not people being voted out.
Yeah, so that's one thing about blindsiding or backstabbing, where you are in an alliance with someone, but then you decide to vote them out for whatever reason. There's a few plus sides to it, and there's a few downsides to it. So as you said, downside to it is that you may not get their vote when they are on the jury if you make it to the final 3, because they might be mad that you broke their trust and you betrayed them. So that's one downside. Another downside is you're probably losing someone that you trust, or that they trust you. You're losing an ally by voting out an ally, obviously. However, reasons that it may come up that you want to blindside someone or betray them are that you don't think you can trust them. If you think that they might be trying to betray you, well, you want to betray them first, probably.
Also, if you think they have a bigger chance of winning at the end if you went with them, I think it's good to see that as an option too.
Yeah, voting out people. So yeah, there will definitely be a thing in the game called threats, and threats generally speaking, threats don't become a major topic until merge, because once you hit merge, people start to think about, well, if I'm going to be sitting at the end, who do I want next to me that I can beat? And the threats are the people that you likely can't beat, and therefore you want to get them out of the game so that they can't sit at the end with you, and you have a better shot of winning if you make it. And there's different types of threats. I think generally there's social, physical, and strategical threats. Social threats are people that are just working well with everyone and everyone likes them. So they might just get votes because they're friends with a lot of people. Although I don't think that's generally the case as much in Gunn High School Survivor. Then there are physical threats. Noam from Season 2, not only was he a strategic threat, but he was a huge physical threat. And physical threats are people that win a lot of challenges. Or sometimes find advantages, although that can be considered strategical. But big physical players, or in this case, just online players that do well in challenges and win a lot of individual immunity challenges. And then finally, there are the strategic threats. And those are people that are doing really well strategy-wise. If it means leading an alliance, or it can mean just playing really well and knowing where everyone's voting, or it can mean making a lot of big moves and blindsiding people, or it can mean finding advantages and playing advantages correctly. So there's a lot of different things that go into being a threat or being perceived as a threat. And oftentimes people want to get those out. But again, that's not always the case. For example, in Ghost Island, the best season ever, Dominic and Wendell were all... What?
Don't spoil.
Sorry, I'm spoiling Ghost Island, but it's fine. You should still watch it. It's fine. Okay, fine. Well, it's too late anyway. I already spoiled it, and I spoiled it in our last podcast too. But Dominic and Wendell were throughout the whole game perceived as the two biggest threats, or throughout all post-merge were perceived as the biggest threats. But people decided to stay loyal to them, and that's also a viable strategy. It's whatever you personally believe, and sometimes it has to do with your morals. If you don't want to break trust, that's also totally okay. It's whatever you feel.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, this is your game. You play it how you want. So,
yeah.
If that staying true to alliances, blindsiding people, kind of staying in the back a little, whatever strategy works for you. I mean, Quincy and I think we both have very distinct strategies. But, obviously, you can mix it up. You can do whatever.
Yeah.
You feel like.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how I'm going to play this next game. The last game I played, I was not the kindest when it came to strategy. But I'm not going to say how I'm going to play. I also don't know how I'm going to play. But I think I'm going to play a little significantly different than how I played last time. Because I don't think that would work again. So yeah, I think we'll see how that goes. And I also wanted to say, I will say, play however you want to play, but while you're playing, keep in mind that you want to be perceived as a good player in order to win. Because
Yeah.
if people don't perceive you as a good player and you make it to the end, no one's going to vote for you. So keep that in mind while you're playing the game.
Agreed.
Yeah, this is epic. I love talking about Survivor. It's just fun.
I hate Survivor.
Shut up. Freaking planning every day, 22 hours. I'm trying to think. There were a few other things that I wanted to say, but now I'm forgetting. I don't remember. One other thing, this is just a strategy. Oh, I know what I wanted to say, just very briefly. The most important thing in Survivor, in my opinion, and I think, Katie, you'll probably agree with me, is being adaptable. And what I mean... Yeah, and what I mean by that, and Richard Hatch actually has a pretty good YouTube video about how he thinks he would do really well because he's adaptable. And...
Richard Hatch.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. And basically, what I mean by being adaptable is you're able to adapt to different circumstances thrown at you. If you are put in a tribe at the beginning and you don't know anybody, being adaptable means talking to people that you don't know, getting to know them, just trying to put yourself out there so that you're not just immediately targeted. Being adaptable also means that when you're at a tribe swap, you need to figure out a way to adapt to the circumstances if you're in the minority, and then figure out how to get that target off of you and adapt. And that also comes with adapting to twists, because there will be twists. Do not worry. I know that Katie, Callie, and Annie have big things planned that are going to mess up people's games, but it's about adapting to those and figuring out what you can do to further yourself in the game and keep yourself safe. So that's the biggest thing of the game, I would say.
And I think probably we'll make another video after the podcast after the game, like talking about season 5, because I think that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be very fun. I would definitely be down for that. And then I can also, I might just be voted out early, so then I wouldn't have a lot to talk about personally. But yeah, it'll be cool to get both a Jeff and a player perspective on that game.
Yeah.
I think that about wraps it up, right? Question mark?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
Good luck to everyone who's playing if you're watching this.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. If you've made it this far, then you are guaranteed not to be the first voted out. Probably.
You don't know that?
Probably. If you've made it this far, it means that you care and you're gonna try it. I believe that. I don't know, but I do believe that. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that about wraps it up. I don't know what our next podcast will be.
Maybe next week, maybe the week after. I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Yes. I'm excited though. Good luck to everyone playing.
Good luck.
We'll see
Remember,
you.
I'll play. Wait, no shit. I'll play and outlast and outmaneuver.
And outmaneuver. What? Sorry, I cut you off.
Good luck, survivors.
Yeah, good luck. Bye, guys.